What's going on, Jeromes? So we're back. We're back in the garage. It's a little bit cleaner now. Summer's ending. Bikes going in the shed. All that stuff. But the Minnesota Vikings coming off by. How are we feeling? How are we feeling right now? Because the Broncos' loss sucked. I mean, the offense was stagnant, the turnovers, and the defense played a great game. But that last touchdown drive, Cortland Sutton, blah 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 blah. All right, that's fine. But the Monday Night Football loss to the Bears was a backbreaker. I mean, the defense played great. If you allow 12 points in your building, you should win. But the offense was just completely inert. I hated the game plan, and I understand. It's like, hey, Kevin O'Connell was trying to limit Josh Dobbs' mistakes. How'd that work out? How'd that work out? But just completely neutering Josh Dobbs and taking away the one thing that he does best, which is running, idiocy. It was just really stupid. But it is what it is, and the Vikings are 6-6 after the bye. And yeah, we had the bye week to sort of marinate in Gary, Indiana, scenic Gary, Indiana. And again, that's no knock against Gary, Indiana. Anyways, but the whole thing about it is the Vikings are 6-6. The Vikings are in the 6th seed. The Vikings do have a couple of winnable games on the road, although that Bengals game looking kind of right now. But the Vikings should and could go on the road and beat the Raiders. They're going to have a game against the Bengals, and then they got 2 straight home games in division against the Lions and the Packers. Now, yes, the Lions, look at the Lions. They're so big and bad. And the Packers allegedly have put together a winning streak, and Jordan Love is allegedly the third coming. Whatever, man. Whatever at this point. But you should hold serve at home. And frankly, that Bears game should be a wake-up call. And the Vikings having Justin Jefferson back, I think potentially could be a game changer. I mean, how does adding the best wide receiver in the game to your roster not change things? How does that not make the quarterback better? How does that not make every single other aspect of the offense better? And by extension, the team. Because the defense right now is balling the F out. I mean, Brian Flores and company, they're getting things done. You could probably say they're a top 7-ish unit right now. I mean, because they allowed 1 friggin' touchdown in 2 games, right? And you could, it's stupid to blame the defense for like, you guys lost a game at the end. Sure, they were on the field at the end, but also, hey, 7 turnovers in 2 games against the Broncos and the Bears, and you lost both games by a combination of 3 points. All right, so it ain't on the defense. And the defense is going to have to get after it. They're going to have to get after Aiden O'Connell. They're going to have to get after Jake Browning and the Bengals. They're going to have to get after Jared Goof and Ben Johnson and stupid Dan Campbell and the Lions twice. They're going to have to humble. Oh, by the way, hey, remember a couple weeks ago when the Vikings were in Lambeau and they allowed 10 points? D-Ace to Jordan Love, the so-called next superstar quarterback and the high-powered offense in Lambeau. Remember that? Pepperidge Farm remembers that. All right, so the defense, they're going to have to rely on the defense the next 5 games. And offensively, I don't know who's going to start at quarterback. It's anyone's guess. Like, if I had to bet, I think Dobbs gets a chance to see what he does with JJ and, an extra couple of weeks invested in the playbook, but he can't keep turning the ball over. And I know that a couple of those interceptions were off of deflections, but some of the passes were just not there, man. And also, when you're getting sacked, stop throwing the ball up directly in the air. Like, I don't care that you're Rocket Man. You don't have to show off the rocket trajectory parabola with the ball. It's just a backbreaking turnover waiting to happen. It's just a mistake, man. But I think that O'Connell could lean into Dobbs. I think that he needs to let Dobbs run. I think we need to see some RPOs, some read options, some half rollouts, something. Get him on the move, get him a little bit more comfortable, because that's what he was doing when he looked good against the Falcons in the first half against the Saints, where it's like, hey, he knows 10% of the playbook. Hey, he doesn't know his teammates' names, but guess what? He could just play by instinct. He can play jazz as opposed to sheet music and go from there. It's the polar opposite of Kirk Cousins. Like, Kirk Cousins needs structure. Josh Dobbs plays best out of structure. But we'll see. Like, would it shock me if Mullins starts? Not necessarily. I mean, Nick Mullins does have a decent amount of starting experience. Now, he didn't play great during that time. And also, I mean, don't rule out Josh or Jaron Hall. I mean, Jaron Hall was drafted by this regime, and Jaron Hall did look good against the Falcons. I think that tape is going to stick in the back pocket of Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips, but I don't know. I don't know. But either way, they can't play coy with it. Whoever is going to be named starter against the Raiders has to have all of the practice reps Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and no pussyfooting around it. Knows like, oh, I don't know who's going to start. Don't pull a Belichick and don't be like, oh, is Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi or Will Grier going to start? No one cares. You're still going to score 0 points. No one cares, man. But if the offense can get some semblance of a spark, right? And JJ is going to get his, and the coverage is going to roll his way. Addison's been kind of quiet the last 4 games. 0 touchdowns and only a high of 69 receiving yards in those 4 games, which is not nice. But also Hawkinson could get rolling. I think the running game could have some room to breathe and get going. I mean, the running game looked good against Denver. They got away from it against the Bears, but I don't know. Like, I'm still pretty fired up about this team. I think that JJ coming back is the ultimate wild card, but it's just a season of woulda, coulda, shouldas. Yeah, should have beat the Bucks, should have beat the Eagles, for damn sure should have beat the Chargers, and should have beat the Chiefs. And these last 2 games have been extremely frustrating because the Vikings easily, despite themselves, could have been 8-4. And that's a whole different ball game coming out of the bye week versus being 6-6 and in a dogfight with the Packers and the Rams and the Seahawks, and the Packers also having like the easiest freaking schedule we've ever seen on planet Earth. Like how many times do they get to play Eastern Tennessee Tech Community College? It's so stupid, but it is what it is. And the Vikings got to focus on one game at a time. Go out and beat the Raiders. And then it's on Cincinnati. And you got 2 games against the Lions and a game against the Packers. 2 of those games are at home. So you have a chance to really make a statement, get in the dance, and you'll have a chance. With JJ, and if the offense could actually get its ish together, the defense will be there. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. And I fully understand that when the Vikings started out 0-3 and 1-4, we probably would have traded the left portion of some of our body parts to be at 6-6 and the 6th seed right now. Fully understand that, but that 5-game winning streak and then the way that the Vikings had lost the last 2 games need more. Need more. That's the new reality right now. So go out, get it done, get to 7-6, go on the road to Cincinnati, get to 8-6, and then we'll take on the Lions and the Packers. Oh my, and we'll go from there, man. But that's it. That's how we're feeling coming out of the bye week. You know what to do. Skull, no production value.